When lockdown began, we faced the question, how do we make community life as 3D as possible, despite the fact that we mainly see others in the community through the glass of our screens? Looking back on the past year, it's amazing to see the ways that technology has enabled us to build community, involve members in all kinds of different ways, and create memories that we can look back on in years to come. We've brought Torah to life through layered readings, kinetic typography, and specially made films. At tough moments, we've been able to use music and video and to share memories with loved ones all around the world. The Shabbat B'Yachad team has worked to be able to reach their community virtually, and our youngest members bring their own dinosaurs to see Tevye the Torosaurus each Friday at Cuddle Up. We held drive-in services, and we were uplifted by the incredible atmosphere. Purim allowed us to get playful with the Spiel characters on Facebook, and to treat the whole community to something that usually only Kochavim gets to see. Music videos, visual accompaniments to prayer, breakout rooms at Kiddush, and late night sessions without the drive home. This past year has catapulted us into the future, the next stage of communal life. More inclusive than ever, with many barriers to engagement and entry lowered. When we return to 3D life, it will be transformed by the innovation of the past year.
Hi, my name's Susie Jaffe, and I wanted to talk about some of the COVID-related support services that we've set up as a community. In response to COVID-19, back in March last year, we set up the FRS Wellbeing Support Group. This is a group of members of FRS, all working in a voluntary capacity, who are all mental health professionals working with children and/or adults. We are there to support members of the community, whether it's with short-term support, helping them to find a therapist, or signposting them to further services, specialist services outside of FRS, or in a more long-term capacity, maybe with a weekly phone call or a bi-weekly phone call to support them through this difficult time. People generally find out about us either through the clergy or through Chesed or through the community connectors, or they see our address in the FRS newsletter and they can write to us directly. We've supported about 20 members of the community so far. There's also been a general support group which has been set up and was set up in March, April last year by members to help people with shopping, whether it be supermarket shopping or going to get medicine from the pharmacy. And that was particularly relevant at a time when people couldn't get online to get online shopping slots. So a small committee was set up and 50 members of the community all offered their services as shoppers, and they all joined a WhatsApp group. And when requests came in, again through an email, which is on the newsletter, then the committee would marry up the people on the WhatsApp group with the member of the community who needed the shopping. And although the urgent need for that has died down, actually many members of the group are still in regular contact with somebody and might do a weekly shop for somebody that they've developed a relationship with. And finally, there was the IT support group, a small group of members of the community who help people to get online to access services and events at FRS. So they may have helped people with Zoom, or if they were having some basic internet issues.
Hi everybody, my name is Carol Balfe and I am one of the people that is working on the community quilt. This was a project that was started at the very beginning of lockdown when I contacted the synagogue and said there must be some people out there that would love to create something that not only celebrates FRS and our move and our transition into our new building, but also gives people an opportunity to get together when we were all in isolation with the pandemic in the first wave. So our theme for the quilt is things that give us strength. And we have had an absolutely amazing variety of media being used to make a 12-inch square that will all be put together to make a wall hanging for Ruben's house and into our new building. And people have used a huge range of different media. They've used paint, they've used embroidery, they've used machine stitching, they've used all kinds of crafts to create these wonderful squares.
Back in March 2020, when we first realized that things were about to change in a pretty significant way, we needed to make a few decisions, and we really did only make a few. And they were that we would find a way to have services online. We were very new to the technology at that point. That we would have something we were going to call Jewish at 2ish in the middle of the day, and that we would start every morning with a cup of tea or coffee at 11 o'clock, which then became 11sies. And so since March, we've been together pretty much every day, with people joining us, with other people coming in and out, some people being here pretty much every day, and with our cup of tea. That's what we're doing.
For me, 11s has provided a daily structure and an opportunity to develop deeper friendships with FRS members, as well as a chance to receive and offer emotional support over the past 11 months.
I feel we've become a group of real friends over this nearly a year. And this is a place where we can talk about anything and everything, from the trivia of our lives to the really deep questions like the existence of God and the place of Judaism in our lives.
In a world of uncertainty, or even a life of uncertainty, 11s is the one safe place for me to stay in touch with community and in touch with friends.
It's wonderful how connected we've become, sharing laughter and tears as we talk about the widest possible range of subjects. So sharing and connection are important to me.
I am just amazed at how important 11s has become for me.
I think everything's been covered, but in my own ways, I'd say that 11s has been a good way for us to get to know each other and ourselves more than ever before, and where important and trivial subjects are discussed in an informal and friendly way.
11s has been and still is a daily lifeline that enables me to keep going.
11s has been an amazing and supportive group to me, which has given me daily routine that lets me be with my community and friends as we are all going through the same thing.
I never thought something like 11s was for me. How wrong I was. Amazing what changes the pandemic has caused. It has offered friendship, support and discussion. Subjects have included everything from Torah to travel. Thank you, FRS, and to everyone I've met.
I live on my own, and though I'm fortunate to have 3 sons living in London, and I see a fair amount of them, and particularly my youngest son, often the day does rather drag. And so it's wonderful to have 11s where I see friends and regularly, and we take an interest in each other and each other's well-being. And I think it's been, a great asset to me in my life.
11s has enabled me to manage this artificial living and to get out of bed and to connect to real life and real and friendly people whom I never would have otherwise met.
We spent a substantial part of 2020 developing a new website for the community. We were keen to make it as clear and user-friendly as possible, and looked at synagogue websites all over the world and some church ones too, in order to learn best practice. Our aim has been to create a dynamic site that can constantly develop and adapt to the changing needs of the community. Here are just a few of its features. If you go to our homepage, frs.org.uk, and click on the blue bar at the top on Join Us Online, you can find out about all the ways to join our events and services. You can also find out what events are coming up by scrolling down to the Coming Up section. Here, you can click on individual entries to find out more. If you want more detail, then click on the blue What's On box. It takes you to a calendar view of everything that is happening. In our Youth and Education section, you can find out about everything available for our youth from our Cheder, Kochavim, to Masuot, our B'nai Mitzvah programme. The kindergarten section will tell current and prospective parents everything they need to know, from admission information to term dates. Perhaps most excitingly, members are able to log in and gain access to a personalised area by clicking on My Account, where they can find their individual membership details. In due course, it will be possible to book for upcoming events through this member area and, where relevant, pay for them directly through the site as well. I am absolutely indebted to Jenny Nooney for the extraordinary help she has given with this project. She has spent countless hours working on it. Thank you also to the many others who have worked on the site and given us advice, in particular Laura Tobias and Dan Benveniste, our website programmer.